Hey guys, Matt here. Today I want to take a look at a new disc from a fairly new disc golf manufacturer. I say new, it came out last year, and that is the Evolvent Disc Readiness. I got to talking to the guys from Evolvent on Twitter, and they actually sent me two of these beautiful things. One in the yellow that if you've seen any of their media stuff, this seems to be the one a lot of people have, and this beautiful pearly white one. You can get a look at some of the pearlescent nature of that one there. And it's actually just a touch flatter too. So I wanted to test these out because they saw a void in the market with the move of Casaplast being bought up by House of Disc for a new independent Swedish disc manufacturer to put out a high-end, really nice disc that a lot of people could use. And this slot is one that is kind of popular. It's the 6-speed disc, which is kind of a weird tweener. So some people call them a fairway, some people call them a mid-range. This one, I would say, falls more into the mid-range shape. If you take a look at that, they give the number 66 -11. And I have had the pleasure for the last couple months of spending some time with this one in particular. This white one was so beautiful. I think maybe I'll get it dyed eventually. I didn't end up throwing it, but I spent a ton of time traveling the country with this one as my mid-range. And I got to play 7 different courses in 6 states with it. Actually, a few more courses than that, but on one trip, my tripod broke and I had a hard time filming. So I missed a few shots with that one. But I want to show you guys my experiences so you guys can take a look at the Evolvent Disc Readiness and see if it might be able to fit in your bag.
Starting out here, home of the champ in Clearwater, Florida, Cliff Stevens, throwing this one flat, and it holds that line, gets turned over in the headwind a little bit. Not quite what I expected, but not a terrible result. On, I believe it's hole 9 here, doing that nice high hyzer, skips up right underneath the basket, easy tap in there. Over to Coachman's Park across the street, flipping up that nice hyzer shot, skips up about 15 left of the basket. We got a birdie putt with that one. On hole 3, throwing another high hyzer. This one actually kind of faded out a little more than I thought it might, but that was a steep hyzer, so on me, I guess. Now we're in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma Christian, cruising right through that double mando. Doesn't push quite as far, but the wind was crazy this night, and it caught kind of a right to left cross. Over in Augusta at Patriot Park, trying to hit that right gap, and does pretty darn good. Skips up into C2, gives me a look on a pretty tough hole. On this one, I'm trying to thread this gap on the right side. It actually goes a little bit past the pin, skips up really nicely, and has just enough stability to give me a good look there. A little church course also in Augusta, going high hyzer around the edge of the trees. You can see that it skips up right in front of the basket there, perfect for that 285-foot hyzer shot. Now we're up at Amrock in the Pittsburgh area. Just trying to air this one out. This one's about 360. I can't get it there, so I'm just trying to push it and see how far it'll go. It gets about 325, and that's a pretty decent throw for me with that disc. This one has the creek on the right, OB on the left, perfectly straight, hit it really nice, and right underneath the pin. This one is another one that's about 380. I know I can't get there, so I'm just trying to see how much of the fairway I can bite off. Didn't give it enough angle, but still gets down there pretty decent. Trying the forced turnover on this one. Sorry about the framing job, but a little bit short, but I'm in circle 2 on a shot I wasn't entirely comfortable with. But this one threads the needle underneath that leaning tree, skips up right by the pin.
So as you can see, when it's in normal conditions, you throw it flat, it holds the line pretty good with a moderate fade. The only time I had any issues with integrity of the flight was with a pretty steady headwind. See some of those shots in Florida, it flipped up and stayed turned over. So I think for a while I thought, well, this is kind of an understable disc. So I threw on a lot of hyzers, threw some spike shots with it, and those are all fine, of course. Unless you throw a really, really understable disc, the disc going to perform is going to do that shot well, kind of no matter what it is. So on some of the later shots, you see I was trying to push it more, see what the distance was like, and see how far you could push it flat before it really faded out. So I do think this is a great disc if you are a mid to low power player. This is a great stable mid-range that a lot of people could get a little bit of extra distance from. The glide is very good. I don't know if I would quite spring for the 6 number on there. That's a pretty hefty claim. I would give it probably a 6.5, -1, 1.5. I do think it's got a little bit more fade than just a straight 1. But I can see where they're going with it. And the more I work with it on a real flat neutral throw, it's pretty darn close to the numbers, but I do feel like in many conditions, you'll see a little bit more fade than a straight 1. The plastic itself feels really great. It actually feels a lot like old Star plastic from Innova, which, if you are familiar at all, was one of the most durable blends out there while still being really grippy and nice feeling. I've hit a lot of trees with it, and it's got like 2 tiny little spurs on it. So overall, very impressed with the feel, the durability, and the overall quality. Sometimes when people make their first disc, there's some kind of funky things. The only thing that's kind of weird about this one at all is the injection point just on the yellow one is a little bit inverted, like any belly button, and it pops up on top just a teeny tiny bit. It doesn't do that on the white one, so maybe that was something that they worked on and got better at, or maybe it's just a quirk of this particular disc. I don't know, but I did enjoy throwing it a lot. Thanks to the guys at Evolve It for sending them to me, and I hope you guys will think about giving them a shot if you're looking for that slot in your bag. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.